Hank broke a medieval king's throne. Just sat on it. Here's how he got there. Morning. Regular Wednesday. Hank's chasing a chicken. Not because it escaped. It just looked at him wrong. Hank decided it was personal. The chicken weaves. Hank stomps after it across the whole field. He's a 37-year-old guy weighing a couple 100 pounds, and he's dead serious. Then he slips on manure, falls flat on his face. The chicken stops a meter away, stares, turns around, walks off. Hank lies in the mud looking at the sky, and something inside him flips a switch. He starts screaming. Not just loud, it's that special kind of rage when you've been humiliated by a bird with the brain of a pea. He gets up, throws a bucket, kicks a fence into pieces, and right then, a portal appears. Purple, the size of a doorway, right in the middle of the field. Hank stares at it for a second. What the? And it sucks him in. Hank launches out of the portal and hits mud. Again. The mud. He gets up, looks around. Stone walls, torches, people in metal suits on horses. Hank stands there for a while in silence. All right, he says. A knight in full armor rides by and looks down at him, literally because he's on a horse. Hank looks at the knight. The knight looks at Hank, at the red shirt, at the jeans, at the work boots. Who are you, stranger? Hank, Hank answers. The knight waits for more. There is no more. And where are you from, Hank? The farm. The knight turns around and rides off. Hank finds this insulting. He walks after him. The knight rides. Hank walks behind, then walks faster, then almost runs. Hey, Tin Man, where are we going? The knight doesn't answer. That's a mistake. Hank doesn't like being ignored. He starts walking faster. The knight speeds up. Hank does too. It turns into a race nobody announced. People in the street stop and stare. A peasant with a turnip drops it. Eventually, the knight rides into the castle yard and stops only because there's a wall there, the end of the road. Hank stops beside him, out of breath, but satisfied. All right, so where are we going? Hank walks through the castle. Nobody knows how to stop him. Guards look at each other. One tries to say something. Hank walks past, not even looking. He walks into the throne room. In the middle, a king. Crown, robe, the whole deal. Sitting on a throne, looking like his day was going fine until the last minute. Hank stops, looks around. So you're in charge here, he asks. I am King Edmund III, the king says with dignity. Yeah, okay, says Hank. Silence. Listen, where's food around here? Been up since dawn chasing that chicken. The king is silent. The courtiers are silent. Someone in the corner clears their throat quietly. Then Hank notices the throne. Big, wooden. Hank is clearly tired. Oh, he says, and sits down on it, right next to the king. Right on it, just sits. That's the throne. I know, says Hank. It's comfortable. The guards eventually snap out of it and reach for their weapons. Hank looks at them, looks at the exit, stands up. All right, I get it. He walks out quickly. Guards follow him. Hank speeds up. The guards speed up, but in armor, it sounds like dumping a bucket of bolts down the stairs. Hank turns a corner, sees a small dog, shaggy, reddish, sitting by a wall. He stops. The guards run around the corner, and they stop too, because Hank's crouching down petting the dog, and his face is completely different now. "Hey, little guy," Hank says quietly. "How you doing? They feed you?" The dog wags its tail. The guards look at each other. Nobody knows what to do. They just stand and wait for him to finish. He finishes after a couple minutes, stands up. They arrest him. "All right," says Hank. "All right." A cell. Stone walls. Iron bars. Hank sits on the floor, staring at the bars. Then he stands up, grabs 2 bars, bends them, walks through the hole, looks back at the bent bars. "Cheap iron," he says, and walks back into the castle. Hank goes back into the throne room. The king is still there. "You again," says the king. "Yeah, me again," agrees Hank. "Listen, I want the crown." "What?" "The crown. Give it." "You can't just—" Hank takes the crown right off the king's head, looks at it, puts it on himself, looks at the courtiers. "So what now?" The courtiers panic a little, but then one of them carefully says, "Your Majesty, we have a problem with the harvest in the northern province." "All right." "And also a neighboring baron is threatening war." "All right." "And the peasants are complaining about taxes." "All right." "And we've run out of grain." "Hold up." Hank looks at them. "You serious? All of this right now?" "Well, you're king now." Hank looks around the room. Then he takes off the crown, puts it back on the king's head. "No," he says simply. Pause. "That's your headache. Literally." Hank stands in the middle of the throne room. All around him, a crowd of courtiers with problems. Everyone talking at once. Someone's crying. Someone's waving papers. Hank stands with his eyes closed. Something inside him flips again. "Everybody shut up!" The portal. Purple. The same one. It sucks him back in. He launches out, back on his field. Lands. In the mud again. Lies on his back, staring at the sky. The same chicken walks by. Stops. Looks at him. Hank looks at the chicken. "Not a word," he says. The chicken walks off. The end. Subscribe. Next week, Hank gets mad again. We don't know where hell ends up. Neither does he.